You guys requested it, so I'm bringing it to you. Another core video, guys. We want to get that core nice and strong. This is for my athletes and anyone in general, really. I believe that you should have a general level of athleticism and, physical capability throughout life. So we're going to attack the core. The core is made up of three different planes, or the body in general is made up of three different planes. We've got the sagittal, the frontal, and the transverse plane. We're going to attack all three in this video because sometimes when you're doing core training, especially if you're a beginner, you neglect some of the planes, but we're going to make sure we cover all three. It's going to make you super athletic, give you a nice strong core, help to sculpt the mid region as well. However, diet must be in check to see the abs. Let's not get that confused. But three simple exercises that you can either do at home or in the gym, and I'm going to give you some regressions or variations if you don't have the exact equipment that I have, guys. But let's get this core nice and strong. Okay, so the first plane we're going to focus on is the sagittal plane. Now this is the front to back movement. This is what most people generally correlate when you talk about doing core, ab exercises, things of that nature. So there's two exercises that we can do to focus on the sagittal plane. That is going to be crunches. And if crunches aren't your thing, then alternatively you can do a complete sit up, guys. So the two movements that you can do. Now when we talk about crunches, notice that my hands are behind my head. You don't have to have them behind your head. You can have them in front of you. I sometimes like to have them in here, but this is not a neck movement. We don't want to be using our hand and we're coming here, because all you're going to do is strain your neck, overwork the muscles in your upper back and your neck, and little to no core engagement. What we're really focusing on is getting the crunch in the abs, hence the term crunches. So even though your hands are here, and sometimes it might be easier for you to get the movement when your hands slide up your knees, because then you know that you're getting the correct movement pattern. So you're just crunching right there, coming up, back down. A simple movement, really going to help to build that sagittal plane. Now with crunches, you can take it to the next level. As I always encourage, if you get really good at the movement, you can start to incorporate weight, hold the weight above you like that, and you just work on crunching up just like that. Increases the intensity, and obviously is going to make your core that much stronger, guys. Now if you don't have a bar like I do, you can always use a weight plate, just hold it above you, a backpack, a kettlebell, anything that is going to add some resistance to the movement you can do. Now, as I said before, if crunches aren't your thing, then you can always just work on sit-ups. Now, sit-ups have got a bad rep, I don't know why, but if performed correctly, it's a great ab builder, guys. Great ab builder. Notice that I'm not using my legs, I'm not using my arms to bring myself up. It's all in the core. So if you want to put your hands across there, across your chest to make sure the form is strict, you can do that. But it's all in the core. Now, some of you may struggle in the beginning. Your core may not be that strong, so you might have to put your feet under something. But eventually, as you get stronger and stronger over time, you can just have your free form. And again, the same with the sit-ups. Once we get strong enough, you can add weight, and we're bringing ourselves all the way up and back down. But I would not necessarily add weight until maybe you can do a good 20, maybe 30 sit-ups or crunches in a row. No issues, no problems. Then you can add more and more weight over time. Don't overdo it. Start at maybe a 5, 10, 15, gradually build over time. And that's going to work the sagittal plane, build those nice thick abs, and then we get onto the next plane, which is going to be the frontal plane. Now this is the side to side movement. This is all this movement here that really focuses on the obliques, but it's very, very vital that we strengthen our obliques. One, because it is going to help to reduce any sort of back pain or make sure that you negate having any sort of back pain. But two, you want to be strong in all planes of movement. So for example, if you had to lift something from here, you're using your obliques. If you never train this movement, it's going to be a problem. Now for obviously athletes, depending on what sport you play, let's say you play baseball, you want to be explosive here, Same with basketball. If you have to grab the ball from down here, you want to make sure your obliques and everything running down the sides are strong. So what do? We do movements that focus on attacking the sides. And what we can do now, if you don't have this set up like me, you might have to make it. But if you've got a Roman chair or something of that nature, then you can use that instead. Just make sure everything's secure. And what we're going to do, guys, is just work on some oblique crunches, just like that. It's really going to make them nice and strong. Start off with body weight, learn to control the movement, and then obviously you can add weight over time. Now, if you don't have this setup, then I'm going to show you another variation that you can do, which is still going to allow you to work your obliques. So if you don't have a bench or a Roman chair to really target those obliques in that fashion, what you're going to do, and I'll just use my barbell since it's already loaded for this, you can grab a dumbbell and you can just lower yourself down, come back up, lower yourselves down, come back up. Very controlled. Definitely works the obliques. Keeps the midsection nice and strong. Very simple, guys. Now again, I wouldn't necessarily start with body weight on this one. You can start with maybe a 2 kilo or 5 kilo dumbbell and then gradually increase over there. If you haven't got dumbbell and weights, you can use a bag, put something in the bags, books or whatever, and still target in that way. But that is how you are going to work the frontal plane, which again is those side to side region, the obliques, the QLs, everything that's involved in those sort of movements. Now finally, we move on to the transverse plane. Now this is anything that's going to be a rotational movement of the core. This one is probably the most important for athletes, sportsmen, and women, you know, alike. And for example, if you're throwing, like, let's say you do boxing, you're throwing a punch, you need that rotational power. The same as in any sort of, you know, field or court-based activity sport. You're constantly rotating, you're turning. You want to be explosive in those movements to get to point A to point B as fast as possible. Maybe to shrug an opponent off, or, you know, a fast movement where you can get a breakaway. So, as I said in the previous video, the best way that you can focus on this plane is with landmine rotations or trunk rotations, whatever you want to call them. For most people who are just beginning, just using the barbell is going to be heavy enough. But it's really going to help to build that rotational strength. Now, obviously, as we get stronger and stronger over time, we can start to add weight plates to the barbell. And we perform the exact same movement. The key with this is to try to keep your arms straight as possible. Obviously, this one is going to bend when you bring it down to your side. However, when you're here, your arms are not tucked here. They're nice and straight. And then we control it coming down to the other side. Now, you can be as explosive as you want with this while maintaining control. So if you wanted to go bang here, control it on the descent. Bang, control it on the descent. Control it on the descent. You understand? So, for all my athletes out there, that is a movement that you should be incorporating in your training, whether you do it alone or maybe you suggest it to your team. You've done your research, you know what's going on, but that's an explosive movement that is really going to help with that rotational strength. Now, if you don't have maybe a landmine or you're doing it at home, equipment is minimal, this is the next best option that I can give you. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab something or anything. At least I'll grab these small plates just so I can kind of mimic what you may have at home. And all you're going to do is swing from side to side, literally, making sure it's under control. Arms are straight. It's not just a violent swing. It's very explosive again. Control. 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 And that is how you can still work on that rotational core strength, that rotational power without having all this equipment. So maybe you get 2 large water bottles and you do that, or maybe 2 small bricks. I don't know what you have in your house that's available, but you can still work on that rotational core power. There's no excuses. But I'm going to give you one more alternative if you do have some equipment. All right, people, and that is how you are going to build a solid, athletic, powerful core. We've gone through all the 3 different planes: the frontal, the sagittal, and the transverse plane, whatever order we did them in. However, it's going to cover you completely. It's going to reduce injuries. It's going to make you more powerful, more athletic, better at your chosen sport, and it's going to help you in daily life just for functional activities as well. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you try some of the exercises. I've tried to give you as many variations as I can. There's millions online of different exercises that you can do to improve your core, so you don't have to do the exact ones that I did. Do your own research and try out and see what suits you best. But I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, you comment, and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.